Welcome, everyone, to another episode of My Strange Addiction, where I make tier lists. I requested that somebody make a Four Girls Show tier list, and oh boy, did they. This is phenomenal. This is basically every cute girls doing cute things show, slash just general all-girl cast show. It's pretty much perfect. Nothing is missing that I've seen so far. I mean, all the things I was hoping would be in here are in here. So we're just going to get right fucking to it. The first one is thankfully A Channel, which I think sets the mood exactly right as mid-tier. I am pretty confident that A Channel is mid-tier. I would even say probably it will be considered upper mid-tier by the end of this, because I'm sure there's other stuff I'll put in mid-tier that's worse. But, it's just a great way to start off. As you can see, I have modified the tier lists to be the way I like it. So, all right, this second one, I'm not actually sure what this is. I had to look at it up close. It does not look familiar to me, so we're gonna go ahead and put that in never seen it. What is this thing? Oh, yo. I don't know that one either. Ayura. I only watched the first couple episodes of this. It has really fantastic animation and a really enjoyable OP that has nothing to do with the show, but I just didn't think it was funny at all. I just lost interest pretty quickly, so that's going in low tier. This one, ooh, this looks kind of familiar, but I don't remember if I've seen it. I don't think I have. Aria. I assume this is the original Aria. I don't see other Arias in here. They probably just boiled every franchise down to, just one entry. Although I think I'm seeing 2 Love Lives down here. So, but I don't see any other Arias. Well, Aria is, I would say, high tier for me. It's really unique. It has some really great episodes. I have not seen a ton of Aria. I've seen the first season and the first 5 or 6 episodes of season 2, a couple of which are extremely memorable. Aria does have episodes that are really slow and don't really give me much, and it makes the show hard to watch. It's not like an easy marathon, though now that I'm a much more patient person than I was back when I tried to watch Aria, I would be willing to give it another chance. Up next, Azumanga Daioh. So, I have not seen the entire anime of this. I have read the whole manga, and I didn't care for the anime as much as the manga from what I watched of it. I didn't really care for the aesthetic presentation of it. I didn't like the voice acting. It's still more or less the same thing, and it does have some pretty fun sight gags that are kind of famous, but I'd put it in mid-tier, honestly. I think it might be, it was ahead of its time, I guess. It was a very important to the genre, obviously. Bakuan is top tier. I love Bakuan. I love the commentary that it has on fandom culture. I love that the characters are really dumb, but the show is really smart about how it presents its dumb characters. And, it is just a ripoff of K-On! Mixed with Top Gear, as the author admitted, but, I mean, how could you go wrong? Bean Chotan I've never seen. I've heard it's not that good. Candy Boy, I only ever saw the original OVA short, not the completed show. Never really heard anything good about it, and I don't even know if I'd really consider this a cute girls doing cute things show. It's more of a Yuri romance, but I'm just going to mark it as not seen. Centaur's Life, I dropped pretty early, if I remember correctly. So I'm just going to mark that as not seen, because I don't remember watching enough of it. Take You, oh boy. Take You is going in high tier. Even though Take You is very hit or miss, just the mere existence of it, I love. I just love that Take You is real. That I always watch a whole season at once. It's best watched on your phone so that you can intake all of the information that's happening because it's literally smaller. But yeah, just the breakneckness of it and the creativity of the transitions and some of the gags. is really really a lot of fun. Next up is Soregaseiyu. I would also put that in high tier. Pretty good show about voice acting, pretty good characters, some memorable bits. Love the ED gimmick that they did. Of course, seeing cameos of voice actors that I love was a lot of fun. GA, I think we can put in high tier as well. It's barely there. I love the manga, and the artist Satoko Kyuduki is one of my favorite character designers, and the show it's not the most memorable of these. It's kind of like it's similar to Hidamari's Sketch in a way, but it's more focused on art because it's like about a characters at an art school. So it's more of a gag show, less of a like trying to actually tell a story, but it uses the fact that they are in an art school as a more prominent driving force of what goes on. Gakko Gurashi I would put in top tier. Really enjoyed that one. Again, love the character designs, love the dark undercurrent of the story. I mean, it is obviously in a very dark situation, and so it's always about this push and pull between trying to have fun and just enjoy a cute girls show, when underneath the surface of that is a zombie apocalypse. There's a voice in the background of a video that finally the internet came back on the other computer, and a video that I was watching continued. Anyway, Oshiete Galko-chan. I think I'd have to put this in top tier. I love Galko. I love the characters, their personalities, I love the style of humor. The aesthetics of the show is really good. The manga, also, the aesthetic is really cool. They're both great in their own ways. But I would love to see more of that anime, and also to read more of the manga, which I've only read a little bit of. Girlfriends, I did not watch much of, but at least from what little I did watch, I think it's safe to put it in shit tier. It was pretty fucking bad. Joshi Kosei, I only saw the first episode of this, but it was pretty fucking hilarious. I am going to mark it as never seen it, just because I don't know if it would be mid tier or high tier. Just because from the first episode, I'd probably put it in high tier, but, I don't know how consistent it is, so I don't want to snap to any judgments. Gochiusa, top tier. Love that show. Love the setting that it takes place in, which is pretty unique. The characters and their dynamics are a lot of fun. It's probably the cutest cute girls doing cute things show, so if you just want to be hit with the saccharine, sugary cuteness of it, that's the way to go. This one, I think it's called Gokujo. I think I only saw the first episode of this as well. And similar to Joshi Kosei, which it is similar to, it's one where it could go either way. Like, I enjoyed it. I would like to watch more of it. So, we'll mark it as haven't seen. Next up is Kofuku Graffiti. I would put that in high tier. Very enjoyable show. Lovely animation. Fun food theme, and of course, I, being a foodie, love that it's food themed. I like the characters enough, not quite interesting enough to crack a higher tier of cute girls show, but it's one I would return to, which I guess I would put in the high tier shows that I can see myself rewatching. Mid tier is where I would put shows that I didn't dislike it, I just wouldn't rewatch it. Low tier, I'd put stuff either I wouldn't finish or regret watching. And shit tier is stuff that's just fucking bad. So that's kind of where I think this is leaning right now. I am not sure what this next one is. It looks kind of like Moe-tan, but I don't recognize that at all, honestly. Not sure what the hell that is. Next up is Hanayamata. This one is just, way overly melodramatic. I couldn't get into it, even though the artwork is nice, the characters look pretty good, and I don't think it's probably bad, but it's just not my style. I'd put it in low tier from the 2 episodes I watched. Hidamari's Sketch is god tier. One of the best slice of life, cute girls doing cute things shows. All the characters are really great. They have a lot of personality. They're well-rounded. They have great chemistry together. The show is it is able to cover a lot of ground, do a lot of different types of things within the parameters of a cute girls show. I don't think it feels stale. It doesn't rely too much on the usual tropes. And the visual direction is incredible. It's, Shaft, Akiyuki Shinbo, big fan. This next one looks almost like a Precure or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what that one is. So that one's going in, never seen it. This one, Hinako Note, I think I watched the first 3 episodes of this, and it really just left no impression on me. Nothing about it was memorable. It just seemed pretty trite. Maybe I didn't watch that many episodes. I remember watching at least 1 or 2 and just being like, wow, this is pretty fucking bland. High School Fleet, I think this would have to go, I don't know if this is high tier or top tier. Probably high tier, just because the characters aren't that memorable, and that's... when it comes to cute girls doing cute things shows, like, how memorable the characters are has a lot to do with how enjoyable the show is. And High School Fleet was more, it's very tightly paced. It's a very, enjoyable marathon. It feels like just a good action movie, If you enjoy, those classic, just tightly constructed action movies, but you want one with cute girls, it's a good way to go. Next is Hyako. I think I watched a few episodes of this. This aired alongside K-On!, if I remember correctly, or maybe right before it. And by comparison, feels like, when K-On! Came out, I thought of it as this is kind of just like every other high school girls show, but it's just, really high quality. Hyako, I felt like this feels like every other high school girls show. I'd probably put it in low tier just because it wasn't strong enough for me to continue it. It might be mid tier. It's hard to say with the mid and low tier on this list, honestly. Oh, Ichigo Marshmallow. Definitely top tier at the very least. Possibly, it borders on God tier. I would say the manga probably could qualify as God tier because the manga is fucking hilarious. And the manga is very, very dry comedy. And it's a lot more gag driven. The anime, it doesn't quite have the tight comedic timing of the manga. But it does have even more visual splendor. The way that the visual direction is just extremely powerful in this show because of the sense of space. Devu did a good video about some of the strength of Ichigo Marshmallow that are very unique to that show. Definitely one of the most unique of the Cute Girls Doing Cute Things show in terms of the type of dialogue and humor that's present in it. It doesn't feel like the same style of comedy as any of these others. Nichijou, I've still only seen half of it. I would put it in high tier. I think it is very funny, but the characters don't really stand out to me in that show, which is the hardest thing about getting into it is that, again, it's really more of a comedy. The characters are, they're comedy driven first and foremost, and while it is funny some of the time, I don't think it's funny all of the time. This looks like, is this Battle Athletes Victory or Princess 9? I think it's Hummingbird? What the hell is Hummingbird? I have not heard of this. It looks like, I assumed it was one of those other 2 shows because it looks like that same 90s style of character design, but I have never heard of Hummingbird. I don't know if this is like a OVA or something. I'm blown away by the fact that there are a couple of cute girl shows in this list that I have straight up no idea what they are because I know most things. So that's shocking to me. This looks like the Idol Master, or is it? I think the one next to it is Idol Master. It might be a different season of it. I think this is probably one of the later Idol Masters. I haven't seen those. I have seen enough of the first one. This is what I would consider mid-tier. It has some really great production in parts. I like some of the characters in the Idolmaster a lot, and others I just don't give a shit about. And when you have a cast that big, you really are rolling the dice on each episode. This thing, I think we watched the first couple episodes of, and it really sucked. This is a shit tier. I don't remember what it was called. Joe Shiraku, I've only seen the first episode, and at the time, I just didn't get it. It went over my head. I was like, this is too Japanese. I don't think I could understand. It's from the same original author as Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, so I'm, of course, very interested in watching it. I'm going to log it as never seen, because I cannot form an opinion on it. All right, next we have K-On! So I don't see any other seasons of K-On! So I think this is just the whole franchise again. Obviously, God tier. K-On! Is one of my favorite anime. I've made a bunch of fucking videos about it, so you could definitely go listen to those for more explanation. But yeah, just the best confluence of all the elements of what I want from anime. This next one is Kanamemo. This was one of the earliest like Yuri baiting cute girls shows. I remember watching a few episodes and thinking it was just okay. Probably mid to low tier. I'm going to put it in mid. I do remember I didn't dislike it or anything. I think I had intended to finish it and just didn't, and then eventually, took it off of the plan to watch list. What the hell is this? Fucking... Is this Girls in Panzer? I think... No, I thought I saw... No, this is Girls in Panzer, so I don't know what the fuck this is. Alright, well, that's another one I don't know. Next up is Kiniro Mosaic. Kiniro Mosaic is pretty bland and generic, in my opinion. I really wanted to like this show because it's got two incredibly cute blonde girls, one of whom is basically perfect, but it wasn't meant to be. Maybe it's the Silverlink production. This is actually split into 2 seasons. Like, why is this one split and not any of the others? Maybe the person who created this list just thought there was a big enough difference in quality between the 2 seasons. I wouldn't know because I never made it to season 2. So I would put season 1, from what I watched of it, I don't know if it's mid or low tier because it's not like much worse than A Channel. But A Channel, I was able to finish. Yeah, it's probably low tier. I'm just going to throw it in there. And then the other one I'll just mark as not having seen. This one, I don't remember what this was called. I watched an episode. I didn't like it at all. Nothing clicked with me. The voice acting was really weird. And, yeah, putting that in shit tier. This one is, what's her name? Who has to help everybody. Kotoura-san? No, that's a different show. It's the one where she's always helpful. It's by Kulkyo Shinja, who did Dragon Maid. It was okay. Definitely mid-tier. I watched the whole thing because the episodes are only 2.5 minutes. Sometimes it was funny, but it was very repetitive. And the main girl is... I mean, the conceit is that she's like a 6th grader with like fucking... who's as tall as a grown adult and with like E-cup tits, who always helps people out. And she has some adorable lolly friends, but... with Kulkyo Shinja, there is no such thing as small tits. There's either no tits or giant tits. I don't know why. I guess that's just how he rolls. This looks like Locadole. This is another one that I think probably belongs in mid-tier. I liked things about the show. I didn't end up watching much of it. It was one of those where I was like, yeah, I could finish this, but why bother? My cousin was really into that show for some reason. Oh, the bike one. This one's another one that was like a little too melodramatic. I didn't like how much non-appealing CG there was. I don't know if I can put it in shit tier. Probably low tier. Just not really worth watching. Love Live. I do not care for Love Live. I watched the first 3. I think I've made my points about it plenty of times over the years. So I'm going to put it in low tier. It's definitely not shit. It's watchable. I just don't really care. And Love Live Sunshine, I only saw like half the first episode of it. Thought it was significantly worse even than Love Live. But I'm not going to rank it because I didn't watch that much. What in the fuck is this one? This looks kind of familiar, but... Oh, Love Lab. Yeah, I never watched any of Love Lab. Lucky Star. Lucky Star. Ooh, I don't know if this is God tier or top. I'm going to put it in top tier to be safe because I haven't watched Lucky Star in a long time. And a lot of my enjoyment of it is tied up in the time and place that it came out. That like the whole otaku humor of the era, the fact that I was watching it with my otaku friends and like learning all the references and stuff. The characters are extremely strong. They're very memorable. They have good chemistry. Well, some of them. Not all the characters are as strong as others. And there's definitely episodes that really stick out in my mind, but at the same time, it's a 26 episode show, and there's definitely stuff I don't remember. So I think I'm due for a rewatch of it before I go calling it God tier, but there's no way I'm going to give it less than, at least like an 8 out of 10, because there's just so much to love about it. It's definitely a show that I think you enjoy more the more you think about it, the more you have time to ruminate on these characters and kind of remember them. It also just has a really strong visual. Oh, Manabi Straight is also top tier. Even though Manabi Straight, if you actually rewatch it, it is a little inconsistent, particularly in the later half. Like, the first 5 or 6 episodes are fucking incredible. All the ones that are just establishing characters, really unique approaches to each episode. They all feel very different. You can tell that there's like a team of directors really leaving their marks all over this show. Once it gets into the overarching story, it kind of hits a snag. The pacing isn't as great. The visual direction's not as great. But then the last episodes are also fantastic. So it's definitely a little bit more all over the place, but it is such a unique show with such unique visuals and such an interesting setting and such an interesting message at the end that I can't put it any lower than top tier. It's definitely an anime that has stuck with me in a really major way. Next is Milky Holmes. I'm not the biggest Milky Holmes guy. I get a lot of people think this show is fucking hilarious. It's, one of those shows that's basically just all the characters are really dumb, and that's the humor. I think I could put it in mid-tier. It's a show I could see myself watching at least the whole first season of. I just wouldn't necessarily choose to. I saw the first 4 episodes, but, I'd be willing to give it another shot, basically. Minami K, I think probably high tier. It's hard to say because it's been over a decade since I watched it, but it's got some really strong character dynamics and some really it has some jokes that I still remember to this day, and that is definitely saying something for a show from that far back. It also has pretty good production values. Yeah, I'm going to put it in high tier for now. We'll see how I feel if I rewatch it. This one is not looking familiar to me. I don't remember that one at all. New Game. I'm putting New Game in high tier. I enjoy it. I will say that on the rewatch, there were times where I felt like it was harder to sit through than I had remembered it being. I like some of the characters a whole lot. I love the designs, though I hate that they don't have multiple outfits, because the outfits they're given are amazing, but they only have like one. I like the game design angle. I'm a fan of cute girls in the workplace as a style of show. The second season, I ended up not even finishing. I was watching it with May, and I kind of just got sick of it. Like, when it tried to get a little bit more dramatic and plot focused, that was when I felt it was at its weakest. So, yeah, as the second season took on more of that, it got less and less interesting for me. So, it's possible that given enough time, I might even consider New Game to fall into the mid tier. But for now, I still like it enough to consider it high tier. Non Biori. This for me is definitely mid tier. And I didn't like the first season. The second season I thought was better. It was overall enjoyable. Still wouldn't really return to it. I don't like the characters that much or the way they look. I find them, I don't know, something about that show, the way the characters interacted and everything, and just like what kind of personalities they have, it didn't click with me. This one, I remember seeing this girl, but I don't remember what the hell this show was or if I watched any of it. I'm going to mark it as never seen because I don't remember it. There's some of these that are in haven't seen that it's possible I watched some of and just dropped. This is Pan de Peace. Definitely shit tier. If you remember my video, 3 different levels of cute girls doing cute things anime, where I compared Pan de Peace. I'm sure the other 2 are going to come up in here. Sancha Sanyo and Unhappy, rather. Panda Peace was the shit one, and Panda Peace, and Happy, I dropped after 3 episodes, and Sancha Sanyo, I was ultimately not really, like, that in love with, so, that's how you know Panda Peace was really fucking bad. So, Girls und Panzer, this is one of the shows that I feel the most remiss about still not having seen. It's pretty high on my plan to watch list. It's one of those that people will probably scream at me, how could you possibly not have seen it? And I'm like, buddy, the list of shows that I can say that about is quite long. I'm working my way through them, all right? I'm doing it at my own pace. But yeah, I loved the first episode back when the show came out. Haven't watched any more of it, so I'm marking it as never seen it. This is that ping pong show. I didn't care for this one at all. I know there were some people who were into it for like the animation and the sort of hot-bloodedness, I guess, but I just thought it was really forced, and I'm putting that in shit tier. This one, this is Plastic Nason. Plastic Nason's pretty fucking funny. I'm putting that in high tier. Even though it's not the most memorable, just because the whole entire show is only 30 minutes long, so like obviously the characters aren't really going to stick with you, some of those gags are fucking uproarious. It's one of those shows that you just want to watch it every few years when you've kind of forgotten what happens. So, because there's certain moments that are definitely going to stick with you forever. But then there's other jokes that you might forget at least when they happen. And then, when it strikes, it's great. This one, Mao-chan, I think. I have not seen it. Robot Girls Z. I watched the first episode of this. Loved the designs, loved certain aspects of it that, it's Mazinger character, like Mazinger robots as cute girls for some reason. I just didn't think it was funny. So ultimately I would put it in low tier because it wasn't funny enough for me to keep watching, but it was not shit. I think this is Sabagebu. Sabagebu is one that I have to put in mid tier. I wanted to love that show. The protagonist is really unique in that she is a total cunt. Certain scenes are really funny, but other scenes are fucking a flat line. And when the show flatlines, it's hard to watch. Saki, I would put in high tier. I enjoy a lot of the characters. The matches get really fucking absurd. I wish I knew more about Mahjong so that I could understand it, but Mahjong is not the easiest game to learn from a point of knowing absolutely nothing unless you are really interested. And I'm not that interested, but it's a pretty good show. It's ultimately like pretty much just a shonen sports anime with cute girls and hella lollies, but who doesn't like that? Sakura Trick, shit tier. Nothing good about it really. Other than that, there's girls kissing, I guess. Sancha Sanyo, I would put in mid-tier. And that makes me sad, because at first I thought it would be at least high tier. I liked the characters, I liked their dynamic, I loved the animation, but the jokes just got really old. And it's one of those where the side characters were not nearly as interesting as the main characters, and they got way too much focus. So it really dragged the show down. It's unfortunate. This is what's it called? It's a Yuri show. Oh my god, I don't know why the name is slipping my mind. Sasameki Koto. I only saw the first episode of this, and I did really like it a whole lot. Haven't continued. Would like to. Putting it in never seen it. Oh, fucking the Destitute Sisters. This is one of those shows that has the problem of not only is it overly melodramatic, but the two main characters say each other's names back and forth fucking constantly. I think I'd have to put it in shit tier. Up next is Sketchbook Full Colors. I think I made it a few episodes into this. It's very slow. And I would be interested in revisiting it. Because again, I am a lot more patient now than I used to be. It's got an interesting art style, and it's much more Iyashikei than a lot of these other shows are. But I'm tempted to mark as never seen it, even though I have. But for now, I'll consider it mid tier. I mean, I did drop the show, so I can't say that I'm gonna exalt it. Oh boy, Sora no Oto. This is a difficult one because when this came out, I was mega fucking into it. It definitely would have been probably in my god tier at the time because I considered it the best show of 2010, and that was the same year that K-On! Season 2 aired, which was my number 3 of that year. My number 2 was the Nanoha movie, which I don't even like anymore. So clearly, I don't know what the fuck was going on with me in 2010. But Sora no Oto, I rewatched the first episode more recently, and it wasn't bad, but it was a major adjustment to my memory of it. Like, I remembered it being this, like, really beautiful show, and on returning to it, it was not that beautiful, so that was kind of a big letdown. I don't know. It probably... Because I also remember not thinking the second half of the show was as good as the first half, even back then. Even when I was calling it my number 1 of the year, it was just like my excitement towards the early episodes that had made me love it so goddamn much. So is it mid-tier or high tier? It's hard for me to say at this point. I'm going to put it in high tier to be safe. Because it's still, it's still well regarded by a lot of people. I don't know. It deserves a rewatch from me. So, alright. I don't recognize this one. What do we got here? It's fucking so small. Oh, Slow Start? Is that what this was? Wait, is that the... It's something Start. Let's pop over to Mal and see if we can figure out what this is. It's the word... Okay, Slow Start. That's right. I dropped this at 0 episodes. So we're going to go ahead and say probably shit tier. Ooh, Ika Musume. It's interesting to even think of this as a cute girls show because it's really more of just a slapstick comedy. But I guess most of the cast is female. I really wanted to like Squid Girl. I love her as a character. I like... she has a good energy and the show has a good aesthetic, but I just didn't really find it funny and I thought it was really repetitive. So I'd probably put it in mid to low tier. Going by what I have in mid tier, I'd probably put it in low tier, but I feel bad because it's such a happy-go-lucky show. It's so likable. How could I not like it? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Cynical man. Ooh, this is Stella no Maho. Stella no Maho I would put in... I mean, looking at what I have in mid-tier, I'm going to have to put it in high tier. It's on the lower end of high tier for sure because it is fairly standard. The characters are not that memorable, but it's a good, like, young people doing art, trying to... continue with their arts. I wrote a whole song about it, the song for Stella the Magic, which uses the ED, phenomenal ED, by the way. Yeah, there's a lot of things I liked about it. It stuck in my mind as something enjoyable, but not necessarily special. I have not watched any of C3 Boo, so no opinion on that. Strike Witches, I would put... Depends on the season, because, well, I also have to rewatch. I have to rewatch this because the first time I watched the first season, I was not taking it seriously at all. Like, I thought of it as a meme show, as, like, basically existing for the sake of pornography, and I think I just played music over it and watched it from the bed. And then the second season I loved back in 2010, because it was basically a bunch of, like, action movie plots with cute girls that were all very entertaining. The soundtrack is incredible. So this is either high or top tier. Like, I want to believe that it could be top tier, but I need to rewatch it to be sure. I'm going to put it in high tier to be safe. But we will come back to the subject of strike, which is eventually. This one is, I think, Seito Kai Yaku Indomo. Yeah, because I don't see that anywhere else on the list. And that's kind of what it looks like. Which I didn't like at all. Unless this is that other older show. I'm not sure. I'm going to mark it as never seen it because I'm not even sure what the fuck it is. Yamano Susume, I would put squarely in the mid tier. I don't dislike. Oh God, this is like my mid tier and low tier. It's like there's a lot of bleed between them. Like it's kind of difficult to say how much better some of these are than these ones. But like I'd almost be tempted. Like Sancha Sanyo is probably the best of the stuff that I've put in mid tier. And some of this stuff I dropped, so I feel like it's almost awkward of me to not put it in low tier, but it's stuff that I dropped not because I thought it was impossible for me to watch all of it and enjoy it. It's like stuff that I thought if I finish this, I will give it a 6 out of 10, and sometimes I drop shows just because I don't want to have to, waste my time with the 6 out of 10 when I could have so much other good stuff to watch. But yeah, Yamano Susume, I finished the first season. It's fine. I like the production a lot. It looks amazing, but the characters are just very one note. They don't really have much chemistry. It doesn't leave much of an impression. It's mostly like scenery porn to me. This one is Taisho Yaku Musume, or the Taisho Baseball Girls. Only ever saw the first episode. I did enjoy it, just never got around to more. I think this next one's Tamayura. I don't really care for Tamayura. Watching this show made me realize that I didn't really care for Iyashike. I had seen the OVA and thought it was fine. And then I tried to watch the actual TV show and I was just kind of bored to tears. So I would put it in low tier. It's definitely not shit, but it's not my kind of thing. This thing, I think I tried to watch this and really was repulsed by it. So we're going to put this in shit tier. This thing is this Kokoro Library? This is also a very slow Iyashike kind of show from the early 2000s. Pretty boring. Character designs kind of look like nightmare fuel now, so we'll put that in low tier. I think I tried to watch this one, Urara Maid Ocho, right? And it was like that one Gainax show. It didn't do anything for me from what little I watched of it. I don't know if it's shit tier. I'll put it in low. Yeah. This one I remember being, if this is what I remember, what I think I remember, it was garbage. So it's definitely going in shit. Next up is Wakaba Girl. Wakaba Girl is mid tier. It's the same author who did Kiniro Mosaic, but it had the advantage of having half-length episodes. It is very generic. It's very much just like the middle of the road, boilerplate, pretty generic characters. Their chemistry is fine, I guess, because the humor is very rote. Like Kiniro Mosaic had a lot of the same problems, but just by virtue of Wakaba Girl being shorter and the character dynamic just hitting me a little better, I was able to watch the whole thing. But definitely not like something I'd recommend to people. Wake Up Girls. I tried to watch this. I made it through a couple episodes. I wasn't feeling it. I'd put it in low tier. Yuki Yuna is a hero. I had dropped this after the first episode, but I'm interested in returning to it. I'm not going to have an opinion on it. I'm just going to put it in never seen. Yuru Yuri is basically the same thing as Tantei Opera Milky Holmes, another show where it's basically the joke is that all these girls are dumb as shit. Antics ensue. Doesn't do much for me. I don't find it that funny. I'm sure it should go in mid-tier, and most people would put it there, but it had even less impact on me than Milky Holmes, because at least that had a good setting, and the characters were more memorable. I just don't really get Yuri Yuri, so I'm putting it in low tier. I'm sorry. Similarly with Yu Yu Shiki, I watched the first episode, and I got nothing out of it. I just thought it seemed pretty fucking boring and not really funny at all, so low tier for that as well. And then this is fucking... What the hell is going on here? Is this that one? Is this that Leviathan show? This thing is shit. Yeah, Zettai Boe Leviathan, I think. Yeah, that's a bad one. So here we go. You've got the God tier consisting of Hidamari Sketch and K-On!, Untouchable, the Twin-Headed Dragon. I'm almost tempted to organize all of these tiers from like best to least best. So like Lucky Star would be the highest of top tier, followed by, let me see if I even can organize this. Ichiko Marshmallow probably goes right behind that. Then Bakuan. Gakko-Gurashi. I don't know if I want to put... yeah, Gakko-Gurashi's fine as the next one. I would put Gochi-Yusa above Galco. Manabi probably belongs above Gochi-Yusa, but not necessarily above Gakko-Gurashi. Yeah, that's a satisfying top tier. I'm not going to do this for all of them. I just felt really like I really wanted Lucky Star to be close enough to God tier that you understand that it very much could be God tier, but I need to rewatch it to be sure. But yeah, this is a great spread. This is probably, of all the charts I've done that had this many shows, the one that I knew the most shows in. Like, I feel like I knew more of this than the fucking Bones chart. And well, maybe not. But anyway. All right, moving along.